motion is to take it and pass it like they normally do. There's normally, I don't know if y'all do discussion, but that's fine. But we just do the motion and the second. But all of these, I need a vote on.
The Waycross City Commission planning and, excuse me. The Waycross City Commission meeting is now called to order. At this time, we're going to stand to our feet with our invocation, Mayor Pro Tem, Shanita Bennett, and our pledge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will have Mr. Timothy Hathaway to come give us the invocation and after the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. We thank you, God, for this opportunity to come to this facility, Lord, to have this city council meeting, Lord. We ask that you bless the council men and women. We ask that you touch the mayor, Lord, that they make good decisions for this city, Lord. We ask, God, that you just bless this city overall as a whole.
Yes,
and we ask this in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As you take your seats, we are getting ready to move into our meeting. But before we move into our meeting, we're going to ask that our city's clerk would read for us our decorum. Following that, we will entertain a motion for the approval of our agenda. Madam Clerk.
Section 2-66 decorum. The mayor, commissioners, staff, and persons in attendance shall conduct themselves in a professional and respectful manner. Except when expressly authorized by the mayor, all remarks, comments, and questions shall be directed to the mayor and not to individual commissioners, staff, or persons in attendance. A commissioner, staff, or person in attendance shall not speak at a meeting until the commissioner, staff, or person in attendance has been recognized by the mayor and granted permission to speak or ask a question. All comments, remarks, or questions made by the commissioners, staff, or persons in attendance shall address the item or motion that is being discussed or be pertinent to the resolution, ordinance, or agenda item before the commission. No one shall make or use inappropriate, insulting, vulgar, obscene, and/or profane language, or make any offensive remark or comments while speaking, nor shall anyone accuse any other person of being immoral, violating any law, rule, or regulation, or committing any ethical violation. Further, no one shall use this opportunity for public comment to speak about any activity undertaken for political reasons or ends, such as campaigning for votes before an election, campaigning for another person, making speeches, attempting to raise funds, etc., or otherwise promoting oneself or one's private position. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we have anyone with public remarks on official actions before we move into our vote on the agenda?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. At this time, we're looking to the commission to get a motion to approve the agenda so we may move forward. Is there a motion?
Mr. oh,
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I move for that we accept the agenda.
We have a motion for the approval of the agenda in a second. The motion was given by our Commissioner Shanita Bennett, who is our Mayor Pro Tem, and also our second was given by our Commissioner Nelson. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. This agenda passes. Moving forward into our executive duties. And we're going to look to our city's manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we have two presentations. I think one of the recipients is running late, but we have one who is president this time. We're going to start with her, and then we're going to go into the employee of the month. So, Ms. Bay, you want me to discuss the first one? Autism?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, Ms. Danielle, if y'all can come to the front, please. Oh,
She can come.
she want to come.
She can come.
And her, okay. And Ms. Mayor, if you can join them, please. So for those who don't know, and I'm actually going to let Diane speak on her program. Not necessarily a program, but her network and family of those citizens who have family members with autism. It's a great program. So far, myself and the mayor have attended 2 of the events, which were well received. She's also worked with the police force on making sure that parents and citizens enroll their children, not just their children, but their family members who have autism into the program, so that in the event that we have any situation, the trained police show up versus the untrained with autism. So we really appreciate her, Mr. Mayor. She's done so much. And this time I would like to give her the mic and let her talk about her program for a few minutes.
Back last year, I hosted this big event here in Waycross where I had a lot of families come out and just was giving advice on autism. As you can see, my daughter is autistic. She's been diagnosed at 2. So around Waycross, it was hardly nothing. It was no support groups. We were young parents. We didn't really want to talk about it. And it was just really devastating for us. So last year, I came up with this brilliant idea. I told my husband, I said, you know what? I think I want to do something with autism. And I had a lot of parents come and tell me, hey, we want to keep going. I had a lot of momentum. It was a lot. It was impactful. So I started an Anchor of Hope. And an Anchor of Hope grew, and it grew, and it grew. And this year alone, I serviced over 100 families. I gave 100 book bags out to families. I gave Christmas gifts out. We did this walk downtown. What else did we do? Because I'm always pulling Patrick, the city manager, and the mayor on just these brilliant ideas. My next idea is to build a clinic here in Waycross, to just start giving services out. These are free services. I don't charge my parents nothing. Just call me if you need potty training, if you need resources in Atlanta, resources in Waycross, just call me. So these are free, but my clinic will be, that's what we're working on now, is trying to see where we want to put the clinic and how we want to navigate it, but that's our next step. And just bringing awareness to autism in Waycross. It's not a lot that we know of that's around, but my program is pretty popular and it's getting out there. So if you know anybody, please give them my name, give them my number, and I'm here to help. I'm giving resources. What else? I give a lot. I give resources, community things. We just do a lot for the community, for the city of Waycross. So, and thank you for backing me, because this was a little nerve-wracking. I was a little nervous presenting it to y'all, but thank y'all, the city, for backing me on this.
We are grateful to the Smith family. Miss Danielle, thank you so very much for all that you do. And so because of what you've done, we have something for you. We have the Sergeant Kennedy L. Sanders Outstanding Citizen Achievement Award for you. And you are getting ready to receive a spike, which is similar to a key to the city.
Oh, thank you. All right. Thank you.
And so this is a railroad spike from downtown city of Waycross. This is number 46 of 100 of them. And this is an Outstanding Citizenship
Thank
Award.
you.
And this is your certification.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think the VA rep is running a little bit late, so we'll go right into the employee of the month, and I will introduce the employee of the month. And much like Ms. Strickland, I didn't prepare any remarks because it will be a lot of pages, and I'll be talking up here for a long period of time. I didn't want to do that. I want to go ahead and present this month's Employee of the Month, their award and recognition. But I will say a few things, Mr. Mayor and Commissioner, and for the audience, just to know how valuable Mrs. Power is, City Clerk, to our organization. So when I got here 2 years ago, I think Ms. Power got here a few months before I did, and we were still in transition. And much like my position, it had been a lot of changeover. The previous city clerk, we're going back 20 years now, but the one before that had been here for, I want to say 18 years, for a long period of time. But after that, we had 7 serving or intern or serving city clerks. One of them happened to be Mark Hawkins back here. He served, so I think that's where everything got messed up at. But the thing about that, we did have a lot of people that kind of filled in during that time frame. So some things did get mishandled because the job the city clerk does is very important, and it can't be a secondary job. So when we had the city finance director doing it, and then we had somebody else filling in, and a lot of things happened that wasn't the best. So move forward, and Ms. Power gets here, and she comes in to a little bit of organized confusion in the VA, organized confusion, and she had a lot to kind of deal with. And I will say a few things. When she got here, we probably were about 25% business license compliance. And those who really know how the taxation works for the city, that was killing us. It's not about necessarily collecting money, but it's about making sure everybody is in compliance, especially our restaurants and food services, and things of that nature, our doctors, all those things, and we were not compliant. Ms. Powell and her team, I think Marquise is in here somewhere, the other teammate, they have done an outstanding job, and I want to say right now, we're over 85% compliance with our business license, which is a really big deal. But also with that, it's not just about making them bring us their check. Ms. Powell and her team do a great job educating our citizens. That was something that I'm not saying it wasn't happening before we got here, but I will say now it's happening a lot more. She's assisted with Mr. Simmons and the finance director by really sitting down with potential business owners, current business owners, and then we take the advice of past business owners and create an environment that can really learn why we do stuff the way we do it, which is so important. And the last thing, I can keep going, but she brings a sense of peace and humor to the city every morning. Her and Miss Brooks, if you know, you know. So every day, they make sure I stay straight. Counsel me when I need counsel and support me. I won't speak on the mayor, but he'll probably say some remarks as well about the counsel he receives sometimes when he's in the office. But we really appreciate Ms. Powell, all her efforts. Like I said, she has done a wonderful job here, and I really take pride of her being recognized right now, because a lot of our workforce, especially the ones in this building, they don't get recognized enough. We got a great team now. Don't get me wrong. Public Works, Fire Department, Police, all those human resources, they get recognized out by the public all the time. You see it on our Facebook comments, but rarely do they get recognized of the people here doing the other type of work that the city has to do. The management piece, the finance piece, the organizational piece, and the communications piece. So with that being said, Ms. Powell, will you take center stage for me? And family, husband, please. And husband, please.
We are grateful for all the work that you do, and we really know there's much more than we've been seeing done, because you do a lot of things in secret, but you get rewarded openly. And so, come on up, Wynn.
And her daddy.
And Daddy, all right. You bring the whole family. So on behalf of the city of Waycross, I want to thank you for your outstanding performance, not only just while you're here, but everywhere you go. Thank you so very much. And here for you, I have just an Employee of the Month plaque that says in honor of outstanding performance. And along with that, a little check just to help augment your check of the month. Shift this way. And she represented the rose in the midst of the thorns just then. Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, we have one final presentation. So the final presentation will receive the Sergeant Kenny L. Sanders Outstanding Citizen Achievement Award. Will be a representative from the VA. I think I saw her walk in. Yes, ma'am. If you come center stage for us real fast, and while she's coming up, I'll talk about the VA the VA clinic here in Waycross, Georgia. As you know, a lot of changes have came down over this previous year with the VA. I go over probably like once a week and talk to them. We are very thankful for all they do for our veterans here in the city of Waycross. A lot of their work, like Ms. Powell, is unseen. You don't know. I have watched the VA take citizens off the streets, our homeless veterans, and take them to the VA clinic and get them service myself personally. So we can't give them enough recognition for what they do. They're understaffed in my assessment, but they do the work. They bring the work in, understaffed, and in some cases don't have all the equipment they need, but they make it work. They got some volunteers over there, unpaid volunteers. They come in every day as well to support the mission of the VA. And Mr. Mayor, what we want to do today on your behalf is just recognize the entire VA staff for all the hard work they do for the community, not just our veterans, but for our communities abroad. So we want to say thank you.
Thank you so very much for all that you've done and are doing. And our cities and our citizens are safe because of you, and we thank you. And with this, we have the Kennedy L. Sanders Outstanding Citizens Achievement Award presented to Georgia Department of Veterans Waycross Office in appreciation of your exceptional dedication and compassionate service in assisting our veterans. Through your efforts, unwavering support, advocacy, and commitment to you, you have helped ensure that veterans receive the respect, care, and resources they so greatly deserve. And this is awarded on this day, the 6th day of May, 2025. And I put my seal and my signature. You hold this, and here is your key to the city, or your spike. You want to get us in the center here to take a picture. At this time, we will move into our official reports, and we have a report coming now from our city's manager, Mr. Duke Rayford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we're moving to the city report. And for those who were not here last night or may have not watched the meeting previously, this is the vision and the mission of the city. It remains the same. These are our bins of our priorities: infrastructure, services, quality of life, and city workforce. These are the priorities within those each bins. And we will talk into detail of these at this meeting, Mr. Mayor, but for those watching, if you come to the working session, we'll go into more detail of these priorities as set by the commission. This is the 10-year plan. Right now we're in year 2 to 4 of the plan. Everything is going well right now. As I mentioned last night, we're on schedule, actually ahead of schedule, for the complete IT systems update or overhaul. We did brief last night the strategy for the financial strategy moving forward for the next 3 years, which we feel like will be very positive for the city and do a lot of work for the city as far as infrastructure and then fleet management for the city itself. So we're looking forward to making that happen for our citizens, which will enable us to get them the best support possible. And again, as we move into the budget process in the coming weeks, the theme of the budget will be divest and invest, and that's us divesting from things that are not bringing value to the city and investing or reinvesting in those things that bring value to the city. The only other thing on the report, Mr. Mayor, last night we had a discussion from one of the citizens, and I wanted to cover this. Normally when they speak, you don't see the feedback that happens between the commission and myself on those topics. So what I'd like to do moving forward is try to address any of those comments in a professional manner after the meeting, if we have time to go back and research what they're asking about. In particular, this situation, we had a concern about code enforcement last night. as far as inspections. I will say that we've been talking about this for pretty much the whole 2 years I've been here, trying to find a better way to do things. And I think we're real close. If I can, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna show like a 5-minute video, not the whole 5 minutes, but the video that the commission was able to witness with the Tyler coming in with the code, the new practices with code, just so the citizens can see that's coming along here in the future. That's really gonna help us out once we like modernize and digitize our whole codes department. So that's one thing. But the main focus of my report today is I sat down with Mr. Hawkins about last night, and then this morning we did another sit down, and I wanted to kind of give the commission some options to think about for the future about how we do inspection. I'm gonna bring Mark up here in a little bit to kind of go into detail about this with his expertise. But the main thing that I just from the conversation last night and many more that I have, citizens not satisfied with our vacancy inspection. Now we have other inspections, you know, we have new builds, add-ons, new construction, all those things. But the main problem that we've kind of been going back and forth with has been the vacancy. The vacancy requirement of 6 months, power and water, and that part. What we do know, and Mark's going to talk about this a little more in detail, that's not a requirement by the state. So we don't have to do it that way. I will go back in history and what I think happened, what I speculate happened, that at some point in time a previous commission was doing it, what we're going to present here in a few seconds, and then some things came up and they kind of changed direction. Like most times, the commission is trying to take care of citizens, and I think at a certain point, citizens were required to perform, will get their own contractors and all those things, get their own inspections done, and then present that to the city. And what was happening though, the work was probably being not done completely, things signed off wrong, and a lot of things done incorrectly. And then once you do that, the only negative part of this, now you do have a situation of a citizen versus citizen legal matter. Versus right now, all those inspections that Mark does, we go by the book. And I think in the past they wasn't doing that. And that's why I kind of changed back over to what we're doing right now, if that makes sense. So what we're asking right now is to kind of think about for the commission over the next few weeks, and we'll come back to this probably once the budget gets presented properly. I'm going to bring Mark up here to kind of discuss this about the current way how we do the vacancy inspection and proposed new way. Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner. So the vacancy inspection, it was here prior to me getting here in 2004, so I don't know when they started it. The history that I was told was that Georgia Power required inspections if the power had been off for so long. The way the city ordinance is written, basically anytime the water's turned off, so if you were on a cutoff list today, the way the ordinance is written, the city can go inspect it tomorrow before it turns back on. So what the city did was just kind of got on page with Georgia Power and went with the 6-month deal. As the city manager said, this is not a state requirement. So what we've looked at and what we proposed is to get away from the city doing vacancy inspections and just have the owner of the building, this will cover commercial, residential, have the owner come up. They would do a affidavit saying that they're hiring a plumber, electrician, contractor, and a mechanical guy to come in, look at it, make sure it's up to code. They would also submit an affidavit saying that it's up to code, and when we get that, then we turn the water and power on. It takes the liability off the city, and it puts the liability back on the owner and the contractor. So it would be a third-party contract, because we have some property owners that they have, you know, a building license, a plumbing, their state license to do all the trades. So in those situations, the third party, so they couldn't just inspect their own property. So that's what we're proposing, and again, it would get the city out of it. The owner would sign the affidavit saying that they're going to abide by this and that they're taking all liability from this, and then the contractors would submit the affidavit saying that they went in and inspected that trade and it met code compliance. So, and then once we got those, then the water and power would be turned on.
So do we need, and I know this is your report,
Yeah.
do we need a resolution of some sort to actually go along with this, or would this be a ordinance change?
I think it'll be an ordinance change.
Ordinance change.
Yeah, but right now, Mr. Mayor, I just want to present it to the commission because there are some pros and cons to this. So in the perfect world, everybody will do the right thing, get the licensed professionals to do the work, not do the work themselves, and they will follow all the procedures as outlined in the code book and electrician book, all those things, engineer stuff, and everything will work out. But then there's a chance that they might not do that, and they might do their stuff on their own and all those. But this is why I want everybody to kind of. This is why Mark is so hard on his inspections. And I do go back behind the team sometimes to make sure that I understand why we do what we do sometimes. I think if I was told a story of my first 2 months here when I fell through the floor and when somebody was trying to tell me the floor was stable. And so it's very important because right now, I need everybody to understand that the city owns the liability if we just pass certain things. I understand that everybody's trying to save money and we're not trying to save money and make money. And we do have a housing shortage. All those things are inputs to this problem. But overall, it's the city that ultimately bears the responsibility when things are not done properly. And that's the main reason that we do the inspections. The other part of this, we will still be asking that if you're going to purchase a home here in Waycross, that you simply stop by the 3rd floor. Eventually, we'll be online. You can just kind of just go online and do this. But definitely need to understand, because as I've learned, and I want to thank the family that came up here yesterday, because we've been having many conversations. A lot of times they don't know what's in the code book, and it can be confusing. I want to say the electrical part in there is about 80 pages of stuff, 800 pages. So now some people can understand that stuff, and then some can't. So it is an education piece in here that will still need to occur. And I hope that if we do make this change, if the commission makes this change, we will facilitate the education piece, because we want people to come here and build homes. We have some folks come here and they do it in 30 days. They have a team, they come in and it's no problems. But I stand by my team. There's no racism involved. There's no malice involved. That's not the intent. We don't have time to go out here and pick and choose. That's not how it works. And I stand by that with anybody. Do we get everything right all the time? No. But there's like I say, there's a reason behind some of the stuff, because we're trying to work with people sometimes. And I've been working with people for 2 years now. Just be honest, And I think if we make this decision to pivot a little bit, we will get ourselves not only. I'm not trying to run for the liability, but we don't want to be in front of their own timelines. We don't want to be in front of anything that makes them think we're trying to deter them from making money, saving money, or providing homes. And I think to the commission, and he was still working out some of the legality behind this, but I think right now this would probably be the best course of action. And again, this is just for vacancy inspections. Everything else is state law. We can't get away from that. That's state law. So new builds and add on.
Yeah, additions, new builds, remodels, stuff like that. Those are mandated by DCA, and they have to follow the codes. Which the codes are the bare minimum, but you have to enforce those, and you have to go by those. You can add to them, but you can't take away from them. So you can make it tougher, but you can't make it less stringent. But that goes for any time they're doing any plumbing, electrical, mechanical, or any type of building. Those are mandated by the state. But as far as vacancies to get water and power turned on, that was a city ordinance that came in sometime. And again, it was kind of getting on par with Georgia Power to do that. And because Georgia Power was requiring the city at the time to do that, so this would still kind of get that because they're going to still want the city to approve, to send in the power. So with these affidavits, it takes it off the city and we just send it in.
Yeah. And like I say, Mr. Brown, we think this I feel like it's the best course of action now. Now, the last piece of this, and I'm going to try to pull up, we can go ahead and try to pull up the briefing. Like I say, once we get the systems fully automated, some of this will be streamlined, and it'll be even better process for all the inspections, because residents can simply go online. It'll be a step-by-step process of what they need to do when buying a home or fixing a home up. It won't be any confusion anymore about when I do this, when I do that, or however that works. And this is a few months away, and we'll probably start implementing that probably August, September time frame. So it's coming kind of fast. So again, we're excited about that because this will add another level of transparency and communications for our citizens, so they can understand the process too. Because again, and I don't want to overtalk this, I think our biggest problem is the lack of understanding about the requirement. I mean, and you know, everybody wants to go do it themselves, and in some cases you just can't. You know, you got to have a licensed professional do it. So I'm gonna let that get chime up, and we'll watch a few minutes of it, Mr. Mayor, and I'll wait for your comments after that. And then, like I say, I'll circle back with this discussion probably in the month of June to give the commission a little bit of time to assess it. And if the commission has any additions they want to add, I just ask you over the next couple of weeks, go ahead and let me know, and we'll do that as well.
Permit, we'll click on apply here. The system's going to ask if we're a collaborator. That's just our way of saying, are you a homeowner, contractor, developer, somebody that needs to pull a permit? If you are, you can create an account. All that we ask for is a name, an email, and a password. So it takes about 30 seconds to get that set up. I'm already logged in, so I'll just switch tabs here. Once they log in, that application will pull up right on the screen for them. They can change that project title on their end if they want to. And then our first step here is just to find our location. So as we start typing, we're going to get a drop down to select from. This will be based on your location records, so they're not going to see any addresses or properties that you guys don't work with. Once we select our location, this section here will tell the applicant about anything else they have going on at that property. So we'll see any other active permits or license projects, as well as any historic data here. Your credentials is going to be your contractor licensing or contractor registration side of things. So with your permit projects right now, are you guys tracking any sort of contractor licensing, electrical, plumbing, anything of that sort? Or what does that look like?
Yeah, we do track all that.
And do you guys at the city level issue those, or are those state issue licenses? What's that situation?
Those are state license.
Okay. So your credential manager would give your contractors the access to take their state licenses that they have, upload them to their account here. You guys would only have to verify them on that original upload to make sure everything looks how it's supposed to. Once those are attached to their account and approved, then we will keep track of their expiration dates for them. We'll send them automated renewal notices so they know when they're about to expire. And anytime somebody submits an application, their license will be attached directly to that application, so they won't have to find their info to put it back in. You guys won't have to manually verify those every single time a new application comes in. Just helps streamline that process a little bit there. With our description, we'll just go ahead and say we're doing some electrical work. And then your requirements is whatever you want to request from the applicant. So you can have text boxes here, file uploads, picture uploads, yes or no questions, anything you guys might need to request while this application is coming in. And then for your fees, you can attach those at any step in the process.
And Ms. Bell, I want to go too long. I know if y'all already saying this. We're gonna put it online for everybody else. The key point there was, and I forgot to mention this earlier, we will still be a part of the process because in some cases, I know it might be somebody that says state certified or authorized, and they got to be certified. So by doing this database of plumbers, electricians, we'll still be involved in that so that the citizens can know who is state certified. Because we do have people out here who are not certified doing work. And they got labels and offices and everything. So that will be part of it too. But once we get this database fully established, you know, anybody can come up there and just, you know, house 508 Rayford Street. Everything should come up on the past history of Rayford Street. Setbacks, all those things, failed inspections, all that stuff, everything. So that potential buyer could know then, okay, this is what I'm getting into, you know, and how much do I want to invest into this property. And that goes back to the communication and education piece that we really got to work on with our citizens, especially the ones that are here local, because some of them are kind of bought into just whatever they heard somewhere else. So this is going to pay a dividend. I know everybody can't see it right now because it's just the screen's kind of small and online and everything, but once it goes live, and we'll invite some citizens up to kind of mess with so they can understand, and hopefully they'll spread it out so everybody can see. So That's the gist of my city report, Mr. Mayor, and I'm going to pause for questions, if I can take any questions. But right now, this was just aimed to address the concern yesterday, and again, this was not coming to that family. They spoke yesterday because, like they said, there are many citizens that are in the same boat, with the main thing being the lack of communication between us on how stuff is done, the clarity on how much needs to be done, and then just some general need to know. Like if you hire an electrician, they need to be certified because it's a certain practice they have to follow. And we did go around and look at about 10 houses today, which I'm going to start showing citizens that this is proper electrical work and this is not. And the problem with that right now, if somebody was to get shocked or killed, and we sign off on it, then we will be liable. So I hear that citizens, I hope citizens will adhere to that too, and be concerned about the people that buy or rent from them in the future. And I apologize for the question, Mr. Mayor.
So this sounds like Carfax, but it's just.
Oh, well, Mr. Mayor, don't say that because I don't want something like that. Yeah, something close.
Commissioner, did you have anything? I heard a sound. Did you want to make any comment?
Yeah, I have a question. And I understand the codes and everything, but and I do understand electricity. Because electricity can kill somebody.
Yes.
But for as the water part of it, I mean, I don't think water kill anybody. And some like you got to have a permit to change the toilet and stuff like that. I mean.
So Commissioner, like this is a chance right now. If y'all want to change that, then let's do it. Like I said, it's no state requirement. That was just something they got started at some point in time. So, and I'll get with the team on this. If that's something we need to remove some kind of way that we can do, then we will. But that's how the commission wants to vote on that. I see your point on that. Only thing I would say, if the water does leak in the house and it's 2 stories, it's things that can happen. So that's why we want to make sure all the fittings are done properly and all those things. Needing a proper plumber to come in there. But whatever y'all want to do, commission. Right now we're just trying to, if we do pivot from the current operations. We'll make sure we got everything done the correct way.
No, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. District 3, did you have any questions?
No.
District 5? No. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That completes my report.
At this time, as the mayor, I have a report. My report is just a little bit about what's going on in the community. One of the things that I want to make mention of is that we will have the State of the City. It will be this Thursday, and it will be at noon at the City Auditorium, 865 Pendleton Street. And you can start going in about 11:30. There will be some featured guests coming from various places to come in and be a part of the service or the address, and then there will be a meal served thereafter. Along with that, do have an announcement. Love Feeds Incorporated has Juneteenth parade. It will be in Waycross on Saturday, June 14th, 2025, and it will be at 12 p.m. There's also a Juneteenth Freedom Celebration on Thursday, June 19th. This will be held at Bailey Street Park from 12 to 6, and you can come and join and celebrate the Day of Freedom. And vendors and welcome, no fees, no food, vendors, free food and drinks, live entertainment, music and dance, fun games, free produce to seniors. And this is from our contact, Mrs. Shawn Taylor, and she leaves her telephone number. Now on this, you can also, there's a QR code. You can take your phone and put it to it. And I believe there may be some in the hallway, just in case you're looking for an opportunity to do that. With that, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to mothers coming up this weekend. Thank you so very much for your lives and what you do to help make our lives better. And with that, we look to our city's clerk with our consideration calendar.
Approval of minutes. Waycross City Commission meeting Tuesday, March 18, 2025 at 5 p.m. Waycross City Commission Planning and Information Session, Monday, March 31st, 2025 at 5 p.m. Waycross City Commission meeting Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 at 5 p.m. Waycross City Commission Planning and Information Session, Monday, April the 14th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Waycross City Commission Meeting, Tuesday, April 15th, 2025 at 5 p.m. There are no ordinance, second readings, no privilege license at this time. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner, you have heard the consent calendar read by our city's clerk. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion for approval by our Commissioner Nelson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by our Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner Bennett. We'll move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Consent calendar passes. Madam Clerk.
Privilege license. We have Wawa P. Valentino, 1810 South Georgia Parkway, Waycross, Georgia. Beer and wine package sales only. Poor Decisions Beverage Company, Inc., doing business as Ed's Package Store, H. Sweat Jr., 608 South Georgia Parkway, Waycross, Georgia. Beer, wine, and liquor package sales only. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner, you have heard the privilege licenses that have been read by our city's clerk. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval, our Commissioner Felder, second by our Commissioner Bennett. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Privilege license passed. Madam Clerk.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Ms. Jackson.
Purchasing has 3 items for you this evening. The first one is for surplus items from the fire department. The fire department has two vehicles, and one trailer that they are taking out of service because they have become a safety and liability issue. It is a 2006 Chevy Impala, 2007 Fort Surety safety trailer, and a 2006 Spartan Crimson fire truck. We are asking that these items be surplus so that we can sell them on govdeals.com.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Commissioner, you have heard the recommendation by Ms. Jackson to surplus these vehicles. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval from our Mayor Pro Tem Bennett. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second from our Commissioner Nelson. We can move into voting if there is no discussion. Hearing none, we'll move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Surplus passes.
The next item before the commission is another set of surplus vehicles from the Public Works Department. There were 4 vehicles that they have taken out of service. They have since in the process of replacing them. They are a 1996 Ford F-150, a 2006 GMC 8500 dump truck, a 1997 Ford 6640 tractor, and the 1999 Chevy 1500. We are asking that these items also be declared surplus so that we can sell them on govdeals.com.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Commissioner, you've heard Ms. Jackson make a presentation of the surplus items for Public Works. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval by our Mayor Pro Tem Bennett. Is there a second? Second by our Commissioner Felder. Any discussion? Hearing none, we move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Surplus passes.
The last item before the commission is a request to amend our contract with Tyler Technologies. It is for a new set of modules called MyGov that will replace our community development modules that we currently have, our permits and inspections, business license, code enforcement, GIS mapping, credential manager, electronic plan review, and work orders, and the citizen portal. These items will basically be an even swap, so they will not be an additional cost to the contract, with the exception of the fixed assets module that was not a part of the original contract. That total implementation fee will be $1,189, $1,189, and the annual fee will be an additional $4,044. We are asking that the commission approve this so that we can update and get the newest software for Tyler Technologies for the Community Improvement Department.
Commissioner, you have heard Ms. Jackson's presentation of the Tyler Technologies amendment to the contract. We were thinking through this, and she mentioned that the initial fee is $1,189, while the module per year will be $4,044 to amend this contract. The question is, what is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval by our Commissioner Nelson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by our Commissioners Roberts and Bennett. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, we're moving to voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. This passes. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, we do not have any ordinances at this time. We do have 7 resolutions. A resolution of the City of Waycross, Georgia to declare 2 city-owned fire department vehicles and 1 fire safety trailer to be surplus property to provide for sale on govdeals.com and for other purposes. By adopting this resolution, the City Commission would declare as surplus property 2 city-owned fire department vehicles and 1 safety trailer, which are no longer usable, to be sold on govdeals.com to the highest bidder. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner, you have heard the resolution read by our city's clerk. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
I have a motion for approval by our city's Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by our Commissioner Roberts. Any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, we move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries, and this resolution passes. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City of Waycross, Georgia to declare 4 city-owned public works vehicles to be surplus property to provide for sale on govdeals.com and for other purposes. By adopting this resolution, the City Commission would declare as surplus property 4 city-owned public works vehicles which are no longer usable to be sold on govdeals.com to the highest bidder. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner, you've heard the resolution read by our city's clerk. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
I have a motion for approval by our Commissioner Nelson, and it was seconded by our Mayor Pro Tem Bennett. We'll move into voting if there's no discussion. Hearing none, move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Resolution passes. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City of Waycross, Georgia to approve a contract amendment with Tyler Technologies to add a fixed asset module for the city's finance software, which was not part of the original contract, for necessary upgrades and for other purposes. By adopting this resolution, the City Commission will approve a contract amendment for Tyler Technologies for upgrades to the city's finance software to include a module for fixed assets, which was not part of the original contract, to coincide with other modules for permits, inspections, business licenses, code enforcement, GIS mapping, credential manager, electronic plan review, work orders, and citizen portal. The implementation fee for the fixed asset module will be $1,189, and the annual fee will be $4,044 for all modules to be paid for from the city's general fund. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner, you've heard the resolution read by our city's clerk. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval to receive the resolution. And this is from our Mayor Pro Tem Bennett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from our Commissioner Roberts and Nelson. Any discussion? Hearing none, we move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Resolution passes. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City of Waycross, Georgia to approve purchase of a new mosquito sprayer for the Public Works Department and for other purposes. By adopting this resolution, the City Commission will approve a contract award to ADA PCO LLC, doing business as Azelis Agricultural and Environmental Solutions of Waycross, Georgia, for the purchase of a Guardian 190 G4 fixed flow ULV sprayer for a purchase price of $15,300 for use by the Waycross Public Works Department to exterminate mosquitoes in the city of Waycross to be paid for from Public Works equipment line item budget. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner, you've heard the resolution and its details from our city's clerk. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
Have a motion for approval from our city's Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from our Commissioner Nelson. Any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, we move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Resolution passes. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City of Waycross, Georgia to approve purchase of a new equipment trailer for public works and for other purposes. By adopting this resolution, the City Commission will approve a contract award to Harvey Equipment Company, LLC of Waycross, Georgia, for the purchase of a 2024 DP Platinum Star 26-foot bumper pull deck over for a purchase price of $14,900 for the use by the Waycross Public Works Department to be paid for from Public Works equipment line item budget. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commission, you have heard from our award-winning city clerk. A resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval from our Mayor Pro Tem Bennett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from our Commissioner Roberts. Any discussion concerning this resolution? Hearing none, we move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. This resolution passes. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City of Waycross, Georgia to approve fireworks display agreement with Prado Technico, Inc. for the 4th of July 2025 fireworks exhibition and for other purposes. By adopting this resolution, the City Commission will approve a contract for the fireworks display for the 4th of July celebration in the City of Waycross with Prado Technico Fireworks, Inc., which includes furnishing, delivering, and exhibiting fireworks on July 4th, 2025 in the City of Waycross, Georgia for the contract price of $22,500. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner, you have heard the resolution read by our city's clerk regarding the fireworks. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval from our Commissioner Nelson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from our Commissioner Bennett. Any questions or concerns concerning this resolution? Hearing none, we move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. This resolution passes. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City of Waycross, Georgia to approve a contract with Seas Community Partners, Inc. to provide grant writing services for the City of Waycross, Georgia and for other purposes. By adopting this resolution, the City Commission will approve a management consulting agent agreement by Seas Community Partners, Inc. to provide grant writing services for the City of Waycross, Georgia to include writing high-quality, persuasive applications that meet the specific requirements of each funding opportunity for the City of Waycross from federal, state, foundation, and corporate funding sources. The cost for the said grant writing services shall be $50,000 for the full term of the contract for 1 year. Final approval of this agreement is contingent upon final review and approval by the Waycross City Attorney to make sure that all negotiated provisions are outlined in the agreement. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner, you've heard the resolution read by our city's clerk. What is your pleasure?
Move for approval.
We have a motion for approval from our Commissioner Nelson and a second from our Commissioner Bennett. We move into voting. There's no discussion. Hearing none, move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Resolution passes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. You have read up something tonight. At this time, we move to our last call if we don't have an executive session. Thank you. So we will start with District 1.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you for your support and your patience. Hope everybody be safe and have a good night.
Thank you, District 1. District You want to talk now?
It's fine.
Okay. District 2?
Thank you, sir. I want to thank everybody for coming out, and all of those that received the Employee of the Month and the Sergeant, the Kennedy L. Sanders Outstanding Citizen Achievement Awards. Congratulations. And also, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And for those that not a mother, which would be me, I am an auntie. I'm a fur baby mother. So all you that have pets, happy Mother's Day to you all. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. At this time, our District 3, Commissioner Felder.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your unwavering support to the city of Waycross with all the changes that have been implemented. So we appreciate and admonish your input from our citizens because we do truly value you and what you have to contribute to our community. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. And District 5.
Happy Mother's Day. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Very good.
Tito.
We're grateful for all who have come tonight. Thank you so much, Pastor Hathaway, for, well, I said Pastor, as man of God, for giving us our prayers today. And I obviously said something that shocked everyone on that seat. But I thank you so very much for being here and for each of the staff members and workers in ministry here. And I say it's ministry because it's a service to our community, and that's the word ministry means service. And that's what we're here for, to provide the best service that can be given from our community. And we are appreciative for every one of our department heads. Most especially, we're thankful to our city manager for the work that he's doing and continue to do to keep us updated and educated on these events and activities that are going on in our community. To our city attorney, thank you so very much for keeping us out of harm's way. We appreciate that. And to this award-winning city clerk, who works very hard on a daily basis to keep us smiling. And she can cook, by the way. And so, along with that, I thank these great commissioners who have done a phenomenal job in keeping these meetings going. And we look to our city and say thank you so much for all you do. And with that, happy Mother's Day. Remember these announcements. I hope to see everyone on this Thursday at noon at the State of the City, where we talk about the great things that are going on, some things we can work on, and some future ideas to come to the city of Waycross. Looking forward to seeing you there. With that, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Well, that was unanimous. Is there a second? No, I don't need one. This meeting's adjourned. Have a great evening.